be available to you via email by the following Monday, though there is no guarantee of a successful and clear recording. It is my intention to send information that may benefit you. Please understand information given is subject to my interpretation and is a personal opinion. To gain the most from your session, I ask that you remain open and receptive even if you disagree or dislike aspects of the reading. It is my job to stay objective, unbiased, and be direct and honest with what I sense. I cannot make assurances or guarantees of any kind, and I'm not liable for how you are impacted and wish to proceed with your choices. Events, circumstances, and timeframes may occur differently than predicted. Also understand that I'm not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. For legal medical advice or treatment, please consult a licensed professional. And lastly, if you do not connect with the reading within the first 10 minutes, then politely let me know. The session will end and I will process a full refund within 3 to 5 business days. Do you understand and agree?
Yes, I do.
All right, so the way that I conduct my psychic readings is I spend some time before all of my appointments and I meditate and tune into your energy. And as I focus in on your energy, I focus in on the four major areas of your life: your health and wellness, your finances, your career and work, and your relationships. Whatever thoughts, feelings, ideas, or perceptions that I have, I write them down. I try not to analyze or question because I don't want to twist or change the information to fit my ideas. I just want to understand and accept it as is and then share that with you. So if it's a bit, sometimes I get bits and pieces, sometimes I get full-blown scenarios. So hopefully I'll have enough information to be able to help you with. So I'm going to go over these four major areas now. Once I'm done, then you can ask me whatever specific questions you want to know about.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right, good. You have beautiful eyes, by the way. I just want to tell you that. Just FYI. I
Thank you.
think they've got like these. I just saw Beauty and the Beast, and I was
Uh-huh.
thinking of Belle, and I'm like, you've got like Belle's eyes. So,
Oh, I love it. I love that movie.
all
It's
right.
great.
Okay, so health and wellness. So when I tuned into health and wellness, the first place I was taken to was the lymphatic system. And I actually felt some swelling in the neck here and also
Mm-hmm.
in other areas of the lymphatic system. And I kind of feel like there might be a buildup that's going on within the lymphatic system that may cause some sort of issue or some challenges there. So that's something you might want to keep an eye on, or could be possibly be assisted or helped. I also felt when I tuned into your whole back, I kind of felt like your back, there was either a misalignment or a curvature with your back that might have been there for quite some time. And you might need to go see a chiropractic doctor to help get this under, because I feel that there's pressure being put on parts of the back that are not typical or normal. And this
Mm-hmm.
may create more issues as you get older. So that's something that you might want to keep an eye on. With that, that may create some neurological effects because the spine will affect the neurological system. And so I feel that there will sometimes be pressure in the head or this weird sensation that's going on there. So just be aware of that. I also felt some strain in the jaw area as well. Part of this may be just the clenching. This could be TMJ as well, but there may be
Mm-hmm.
something like that for you. Another thing that I was tuning into with health and wellness, which is part of, well, actually, it's part of the endocrine system, but I felt that one of your ovaries was impacted versus another. It's almost as if one of the ovaries may have some challenges or may be weaker, or there may be something around it, possibly like maybe a fibrocyst or something that may affect one of them versus the other. So this might create some challenges sometimes, whether it's through conception or with the reproductive system. So there may be something there that may needs to be looked at. Aside from that, I wasn't seeing anything else with your health and wellness. So let's go over to finances. When I tuned into your financial situation, I feel that right now you're going to see kind of a drag or a dip for a little bit. And then I feel by July there is an improvement. It does feel like a temporary improvement, but I do see an improvement by that July timeframe. I feel I do see a bigger change around the fall time, and I feel that around yes. Yes. Okay. Let me go back because I'm getting myself all twisted and confused. Okay. So there's a drag or dip, and then there's an improvement by July. It's a temporary improvement, and then I think around that same time you have to make a choice, or yeah, a decision or a choice whether you're going to keep the same situation that you currently have. Or take advantage of an opportunity to earn more tied to your career. So it's almost as
Okay.
if there could be more money that's potentially available for you if you make a change, but I feel like you're going to have to really consider it carefully because even though there may be the opportunity there, you may not necessarily want to take on the additional responsibility, and that's what I feel is going to come up. And I'll talk more about that around career and work, but I feel around that fall time you might have to make a decision or a choice there. I also feel that there's going to be some agreements or an understanding with another individual, whether this would be a spouse, a significant other, but there's an understanding or communication with another individual around August or September about costs and expenses associated with your living situation. And I feel like that is going to be decided upon in that time. Then you'll have the same situation for about 2 years, and then there'll be another change at that 2 year juncture regarding your living situation. I also feel that there may be travel to California within 6 months because I kept seeing California. So it would not surprise me if you go out to California within the next 6 to 8, I would say 6 to 8 months actually. I also see another dip for you around January, February, this coming January, February. Now, sometimes people have the dip at the end of the year because of the holidays, and then it takes a month or two to catch up. But I feel this is not typical. This is something else. So around that January, February timeframe, there may be an alternate source of income for you by that time. Now, for me, when I see that, it might indicate a job change, and I'm not sure yet. I'll get to it when I get to career and work. But there may be a change in revenue or change in the source of revenue around that January February timeframe, which would indicate the dip, and then another alternative source of income by that time. I also feel that change of income from one. There is a change of income from one source to another by February, March. So there is going to be some sort of a change over from money source from that February to March time period. So that feels good because I feel after March of next year financially, I think you're in a better place and in a better boat versus from now until then. I think you're just going to continue to deal with the same set of circumstances. All right, career and work. When I tuned into this area, I feel that you will have the opportunity to move up or to take on more responsibility within a job or career situation by fall. So I think you're going to have that option by this fall. Whether you do it or not, that's the question. You may not want to take the extra responsibility, even though there may be more pay, just because I feel like it would take more. It would take way more from you, including scheduling, time, energy, stress, anxiety, and so forth. So even though it may be a potential for you, you might not necessarily take advantage of it. It may not be the opportunity you were wanting for yourself. I feel like that doesn't come until early next year. So that may just be something that comes up for you, and then you're like, oh, I don't think I want to do that. And then you pull away from the option altogether. I also feel an authority role or figure may be moving or changing out of this. Out of this may be part of your maybe moving out, meaning that someone that's in charge or someone that's like an authority figure or role or whatever, they're moving out of a situation, and then their responsibilities are either going to be delegated down to others, or people are going to have to kind of take on some of their roles or responsibilities. I also kept seeing a bank or money loan place. Now, so you may become involved with work that deals with finances, loans, or simply allocation of resources within an organization. Because when I think of a bank or a loan place, that's what that represents to me, is the allocation of resources. So I feel like you're going to be very instrumental in the allocation of resources and having to work around very tricky, very complex budgeting issues, okay, with your work situation.
Okay.
And it's almost like funding something or getting something funded may take up some of your responsibilities at some point. It's almost like you try to get things funded or trying to get things financially supported. I also see the situation where a position is going to be split between people. And that's what I was talking about, the person who's in the higher position, their role or their position or their activities are split between the people below them, and they have to take on some of those tasks and so forth. You may hold this space for 2 years, so whatever you're currently doing now, I feel like you're going to stay with this for about 2 years, and then you're going to make a change. I also see more training, certification, education, etc. So even though I did see a change financially for you early next year, that may just simply be the way that you are currently paid or the way that the agreement is established right now may change at that time, and then you have a new agreement at that time. But I still see you kind of within the same industry or the same area for about 2 more years, and then I'd see you making a change at that point. And I do see you getting further education, certification, and so forth, so that you can be better prepared for the next change you're going to make as far as your career and work situation. Okay, so that's what I was seeing for career and work relationships. When I tuned into your relationship situation, I kind of saw a disconnect here, almost like you and another individual cannot get on the same page, or there are just circumstances that are keeping you from being on the same level. I don't see as much energy or focus on this area, which to me either means that you're just not worried about it, you're just not focused on it, or it's just not something you're concerning yourself too much with. or you simply kind of have a little bit of a wall up, and you're just not allowing it to affect you or to have an effect on you long term. This may be more with people in general as well, and not just relationships. So you may have a tendency of kind of not letting people have such an effect on you, or trying to keep people like at a distance
Mhm.
because you're trying to avoid it having such an effect on you. And that may not just be in a relationship, that may also be with people in general. I do feel that there may have been some past experiences where you've been burned by others, and that is why you're like this, because you just don't want.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't want to trust them. I don't want to, because then they may do this to me, or I don't want to give it a chance. So I do see a relationship option. So I do feel there's a relationship potential in your life this year. Actually, there may be more than one. So it would not surprise me if there are several individuals that are attracted or pulled towards you and
Mhm.
are trying to become involved with you. And it's up to you whether you want to take advantage of those opportunities or not. But you may have to work to. But I feel like you're going to really focus on just a one, and trying to work past the issues that you have with that individual. There may also be a change with their living situation, which to me was weird, because if you were with somebody, I would be assuming you'd be living with them. But there's some changes with their living situation that, and I saw it as separate, which is weird. I was like, I don't know why I'm seeing it as separate, but this could also be affected by a distance factor, meaning that they may have to be or spend some time in another location, or in a different. I'm seeing the refineries in the Gulf of Mexico. So I don't know. There's some work connected to them and the refineries in the Gulf of Mexico, or the oil industry or whatever. But there's something there that might tie into them, which may come up at some point somehow. I do sense an improved bond or opportunity to connect within 2 to 3 months. So I still see that connection there, but it may not get better, or there may not be a smoother operating field for another 2 or 3 months from now. Okay, so that's what I was seeing for relationships. What questions do you have?
So continuing on with that, I think there are a couple of things that go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy that I'm dating right now,
Mm-hmm.
since I moved back to Houston not too terribly long ago, I've been kind of staying in between his place and my mom. Well,
Okay.
he lives with a roommate,
Oh, got it. Okay.
and she just got engaged.
Mm.
And so at some point, he's trying to move out on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess one of my questions would be, or I know that at some point I need to get my own place. And
Right.
I don't know if this is going to be a situation where I'm living on my own, he ends
Mm.
up buying something on his own.
Right.
It's kind of up
So
in the air.
that's why I was saying the separate living situation. So that makes perfect sense to me now. Okay. So I get the feeling that he is going to move into his own space, and I feel that the conversation or the discussion is going to be that maybe you should consider living together. And I feel that you might say yes at first, and then change your mind and say no. Just because I feel like you're going to want to see how the relationship plays out, and then if it goes on, then you'll consider it. But I feel that he's gonna end up getting his own place, and then in the process of that happening, you might work towards getting your own space. But I feel that you're probably not going to get your own space until the end of the year, or yeah, until the end of the year. So I feel like that may not happen until that point. But I feel like he's going to get his own space earlier than that. So his space or living situation may change. It may change. I want to say maybe around September or October.
Okay.
Okay.
My next question is, currently,
Mm-hmm.
I moved back from Virginia, and my ex-husband and my kids are still living there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's keeping them during the school year, and then I get them on all the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to, or he's at least considering moving back down here. His family's all here too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see him moving here,
Yeah.
or me getting the kids,
No, I see
or
him. I see him moving. I feel like but it's not. I don't see it right now. I feel like this might not happen until the end of next year, which would be the end of 2018.
okay?
Yeah, because even though he may plan on it earlier, logistically, I just don't see it working out that way.
Okay. My next question is, I'm to get it back.
Right. I almost feel like you have to repeat something that you've already taken as part of this deal.
Hmm.
I just see you getting it back, but I feel like there's something you have to take. There's something you have to take. There's a certification or something you have to redo just to get that done, and then that's part of the agreement. But then after that, I think there's some other financial aspect to it, and then you'll get it back. I do feel that you will get your.
Okay, there's a program that I actually go through that's I believe it's a 3-year program,
Mhm.
but it's not necessarily set in stone that I would do that program. Do you see that?
I kind of see you beginning the process of that would. Okay. Yeah, I think you're going to end up doing that. Yeah, I think you're going to end up doing that. My head's filling up with too many ideas. Okay, so I see you still working in the medical industry, but for some reason I see you having to deal with a lot of resources or having to get resources distributed or like there's some, I don't know how the finances, I don't even know if it's like payroll or something like that, but it's almost like I'm seeing that. So I feel like you're going to end up doing work in that, but then I also feel like you will get, I don't feel 2 years seems really long. I kind of feel like you may not have to do that.
Okay.
I feel like you might end up having an easier route of it. Yeah,
Finding any job actually, like anything to pay bills, sort of things like that. Do you have
right,
any ideas while all of this continue on like career path,
right.
what I can do to make money in the meantime?
Yeah, that's why. Well, first of all, I do think that you are going to be living on borrowed money, meaning that you might actually have to get some sort of a loan or borrow money for something. And that may be one of the reasons why I kept seeing a bank or a money loan place. But also, I do feel that you are going to work for an organization that's still connected to the medical industry, but not as a nurse, just under a different setup. So it may just be more administrative, organization, resource allocation, something like that. But I feel that there's something that you'll end up doing in that. And I also feel like it's not a typical clinic either. I feel like it's a specialized type of clinic. So it'd be like, oh, I work for a dentist office. It's like weird, but it's like not the typical medical facility you would be trained for, that you would be working for.
So as a side note, next week I'm starting volunteering at the Houston.
Ah,
So that's kind of
that makes sense. Okay, so then that may be the reason why. Yeah. So there, that I think may lead you to an opportunity that may bring some money in to cover bills and stuff. But then I feel that once and I do see you going back and doing this program or whatever. I don't think it's going to take as long as you think. But I feel that I within a year and a half. So I don't see a 2-year period. So I feel
okay.
like you might just have to do part of that and then recertify for something, and then you're good to go.
Okay. Well, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Um, just I guess what what are my next steps? Like, what should I be focusing on right now?
Not being distracted by everything else except that what's in front of you. That's what you need to be. Not only that, but you're going to find yourself pulling away from friendships or from interactions with other people. Not because you don't need to be connected to these people. It's just that you kind of need to be focused on your own stuff. So you may find yourself emotionally detaching and not really focusing or emphasizing friendships or relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Even with this guy that you're dating, you might not be so focused on it, even though it's there. You may not focus a lot of your attention on it. I think you're going to be very focused on trying to get your career and work situation under control so that you can get to that next stage.
okay. I feel part of it is because he's he's there. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't have to worry about
yeah.
trying
There's not
to.
this up and down emotional thing with him. Like how some people get in relationships and it's like, oh, every week is a new like issue.
No,
It's
he's
not
very
like that.
calm. He's
Yeah,
very,
very flat
steady.
line. Kind of a little too flat line, but that's okay. That works for some people. But
It's
I
different than my normal,
yeah,
but
but that's
yeah,
okay. That's okay. You kind of need that stability.
I agree. Um, so I guess the biggest questions are, I mean, will you've answered a lot of the questions,
Mm-hmm.
but just more specifically, will I be able to pay my bills,
Mm-hmm.
for the next,
Yeah.
a lot of this is I'm, you know, his roommates being nice and letting me stay there,
Yeah.
and it's okay living with my mom and borrowing money
Yeah.
from her, but at some point I've got
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I do think you are going to do some debt consolidation to take care of some things that you've got outstanding. and that's going to help you. I also feel like you're going to have to rebuild your credit because I feel like the credit situation is just not going to work out the best
Terrible.
for you. Yeah, so you're going to have to rebuild your credit. Once that, I am seeing you living in a home situation in 3 years. So I feel like there may be something pretty solid there at the end of the road, but I feel like you're about 3 years away from that. But with the current situation right now, it's just you kind of riding it along and not letting it, not getting distracted by everything else you would like to have taken care of as well, focusing on the career and work situation. You will have the money there to pay for your bills, but I feel that you might have to keep borrowing money for a bit. But I think once you get on this medical related um, work opportunity that's not necessarily the typical work situation, I feel like that's going to give you an opportunity to make money and generate income so that you feel like you're starting to make progress.
Okay.
I
Because
do, I do see you generating money part time over the next few months, which is why I kept seeing that. I was seeing that dip over the next 2 to 3 months. So you might generate some income, but I think July is when I see the improvement. It is a temporary situation, so temporary job or contract job by July, and then that takes you into the end of the year.
okay.
By the way, what's in California? Okay,
I have no idea.
I saw you going to California. I almost want to say you go to California by February of next year. So there's something in California you end up going to do.
Yeah, I like California. I have no idea yet.
Okay, well that'll be cool. That'll be interesting to see.
Yes, it will. I don't know that I have any more questions. It's
That's
really the
it. That's it.
That's it.
Well, all right, my dear. Well, that's it then. Well, it was an absolute pleasure reading for you. I wish you the very best. You're on the right track, so keep going. I think you're going to do just fine. Stay focused. Don't get distracted. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, please take care of yourself and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Liv.